Yo. We are the Wise Guys.
Check out the full podcast, link below.
Yo. We are the Ill-Advised Wise Guys. Your boy Jake and my boy
QDZ for Sheezy is way too easy. Forget talking about being breezy. It's hot as hell easy out there.
Ooh, bars. Anyway, this is episode 145. Shout out to the gang for pulling up on us. We appreciate y'all for pulling up on us as always. Thank you guys so much. As always, if you're new here, stay a while. If you've been here before, stay even longer. This is the Ill-Advised Wise Guys freaking podcast. I'm Uche. This is Q. I want to thank the people who follow us for, what I'm saying, getting us over 2,000 followers. We've been hovering around that for a little bit. And y'all got us there. So shout out to y'all, man. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure you like the video, subscribe to our channel. If you're watching this on a podcast platform, subscribe.
Share it with a friend.
Share it with a friend.
Yeah, share it with a friend.
Let's get into some church announcements before we start the show, man.
Okay.
Enough yapping.
Right.
Enough yapping. As always, make sure you guys follow our playlist on Spotify called Zero Skips. It features a lot of up-and-coming talent that you guys may or may not be aware of. So if there's somebody out there who's already made the playlist, shout out to you. If you're submitting to us in the future or right now, if it's a banger, you're going to get at it. It's that simple. You guys make sure to get over to Spotify and tap into Zero Skips. I promise you guys, you're going to enjoy it.
Check out ratingsgamemusic.com/RGM, the greatest music site in the world.
Bow!
America, the Americas, the Caribbeans, in Lagos, everywhere. The greatest music site in the world. Recently, we did reviews for Metro Boomin's new soundtrack. He did the soundtrack for Spider-Man, the Spider-Verse. Really good. Offset, all them people were on it. Moneybagg Yo dropped the album called Hard to Love. I liked it. Uch said he didn't really care for it. It
was cool.
Did a review for that. Check that out. And then we got singles. Gunna Wanna dropped a hot-ass single called Bread and Butter. Gotta check that out. Cardi B and Lotto had a song, Put It on the Floor Again. Yeah. Shots galore on that song.
Oh man,
check that
going
out.
Crazy.
And Kodak Black and French Montana got another song out. Check out ratingsgamemusic.com. Oh, Ratings Game Movies is coming real soon. We're working on it. We're gonna start doing movies. So
right.
Ratings Game Movies is coming real soon. The greatest site in the world.
Abso-freaking-lutely. I stand on that. Hey, yo, let's get it going, man. Can we start the show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go.
So.
All right, guys. We're at the midway point of the year. We're already in June. Damn, this year has flown right by.
Yep.
But I think it's time, you brought this up earlier as a great point. We should talk about what are some of the best albums, or what is the best album in objectively speaking, to drop this year so far. And then we're going to get into our favorite album that's come out this far. And then after that, we're going to get into what album we feel was the most disappointing album of the year thus far. We want you guys to chime in on social media and also YouTube when we drop clips. That should be a really good combo. After that, we're going to get into whether copying flows is something that should be considered, flattering, paying homage, or just flat out disrespectful,
Or thievery.
or theft and unoriginal, right? I know you guys can think of an artist who's quote unquote stolen a style. I know you can think of an artist who maybe is super inspired by somebody that they grew up listening to, but they end up doing it so much that they end up making music or rapping in the same exact manner. There's a couple examples I want to get into to kind of drive that discussion. We're going to get into that, of course. But first, we got to talk about why picking sides is bad for music. Ooh. Or I'll ask a question.
Sides.
Choosing sides. Is choosing sides hurting the experience for music lovers? As a fan, as someone who just generally enjoys music.
Yeah.
We see people beefing all day, every day, whether it's nowadays it's, NBA YoungBoy versus Lil Durk. We've seen Nas and Jay-Z back in the day. We've seen Tupac, Biggie. We've seen every type of beef known to man in hip hop. But a lot of times, while we do get great music that comes out of it, I feel like a lot of times on the flip side, fans end up getting way too invested into each side and they lose sight of the fact that, yo, this is about music at the end of the day. This is not about picking sides back and forth. Oh, I support this person over this person. Is picking sides becoming an issue, especially these days, in your opinion? You know, especially with what's going on these days with these youngers in hip hop. What you think?
Yes. I mean, obviously, yes. Obviously. But I want to start off by saying this. Put the camera on my face when I say this. Earlier, you know, if you guys been following this podcast, there's a lot of things that I say that I'm very proud of, but I think a lot of people would be like, yo, like, why would you say that? Number one, I've always said money can buy happiness. Here's another saying that I think people need to let soak in and accept. Loyalty is overrated. Loyalty, especially when it comes to music, is overrated. Only thing that loyalty does is set you up for disappointment. Think about your friends or family members that you tried to be dangerously loyal to. Mm-hmm. And then think about, you know, how something like, let's say you were maybe overly loyal to them. Majority of the time you get burnt, right? It doesn't help you in the long run. So I say that to say, in the hip hop game right now, too many people are trying to be loyal to people, but it's actually messing up what's going on in hip hop overall. Mm-hmm. I say that to say, you know, right now the first two people that come to my mind is NBA YoungBoy and Lil Durk, like you mentioned earlier. They're arguably the two hottest rappers in the game today, right?
Yep.
But what I hated about NBA YoungBoy's F the Industry Part 2 song was he was giving reasons why, you know, he can't mess with certain rappers, and he came across Drake and said, oh, Drake chose a side, so I can't rock with you. So because of loyalty, right, we never are going to get a Drake and NBA YoungBoy song because of loyalty. Now, granted, that's a beautiful thing, but loyalty never, it's too complicated. Like now, if we look at hip hop right now, if we look at it, I'm like, the other day I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh, Lil Durk just did an interview with Academics. Mm-hmm. But wait, Academics is friends with Tekashi 6ix9ine. But so shouldn't he technically not do an interview with Academics and blah, 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 blah? It's like, it's like people think they're loyal. People think that they're being but it's not, doesn't work that way. Like, loyalty is complicated. Loyalty is a good chunk of the time. It doesn't work in the long run unless you guys are equally loyal to each other, which is rare. That's rare. Don't build friendships off loyalty. Personally,
I gotta say this real quick, to chime in just real quick.
And then I'll get technical after this.
Yeah, I was going to real quick. You know, one thing I noticed about this conversation, so it's two sides to this. Mm-hmm. You touched on one side, which is the artist side. Mm-hmm. Or the people who are the creators, mm-hmm. deciding whether they want to be loyal or not to whoever they want to be loyal to, and that impacting what art ends up or lack thereof being created. Mm-hmm. I got a beef with the fans. My beef is with the fans, bro. Mm-hmm. You know why? Because if artists want to move around like they street and move with street morals and integrity, because essentially that's a lot of times what ends up happening, bro. Mm-hmm. Last episode we talked about whether street culture is having an impact on the community, and we talked about Ja Morant, and we talked about how street culture has kind of ended up in Ja's lifestyle and is kind of impacting the way he's moving. Mm-hmm. I feel like that street mindset, that street culture is impacting fans. Mm-hmm. Fans are adopting these snitching codes. Fans are adopting these street ideologies, acting like they apply to them. They don't apply to you.
Like a loyalty.
You are a fan.
Is like, exactly. Like you're a fan. So you're like, I'm loyal to NBA YoungBoy, so I can't listen to Lil Durk. Really?
Bro, you're a fan.
You're a fan.
You go to school.
Yeah, like,
and you get taught
like
a profession that you don't even have a living yet.
Get that?
And you are having some allegiance to
And you've not
an
had
artist.
you more than likely have not had a personal experience with that artist, so you don't really have a reason to be loyal, super duper loyal, other than you like their music,
bro.
Okay, but anyway, that's why I said
Sorry,
loyalty.
I just had to throw that out there.
I just wanted to say
my beef is with the fans. I gotta make that very known.
Loyalties.
Right now.
I mean, loyalty in the hip hop game is overrated too.
But we can't.
But so there's friendship.
Look, I don't want to go too hard on the rappers because friendship is friendship.
No, but I want to make sure when I say loyalty,
go ahead.
I don't mean, oh, you can't be friends or you should.
Yeah.
See, there is a difference between loyalty and stabbing somebody in the back.
Okay.
Certain situations, I'm like, okay, yeah, I wouldn't like the Dirk and NBA YoungBoy situation. Yep. That's just so serious.
It's serious. Somebody died.
And that's why I'm like, I fully understand.
Correct.
Like wanting to pick sides there.
Yep.
But it's like, to me, some of these other ones, I'm just like, oh, I took a picture with one of these people. Oh, you're not loyal to me. You got to be. We are missing out. Let me just put it this way.
Go ahead.
We are missing out on some great collaborations because of loyalty in music. Like, if you think about it, one of the things that I think sucked so bad as a kid was we never got a chance to see No Limit and Cash Money work together. People may laugh now when I say names like Silk the Shocker and Master P, but there was a point in time where they were flaming hot. Like Silk the Shocker was one of the hottest rappers in the game. And like a year later, after he was booming, Cash Money came out.
Right.
We never got a chance to see like Master P and Lil Wayne work together.
Yeah.
Like Master P, Birdman work together. Like Master P and Birdman, they both, the reason I bring these two cliques up, they both from Louisiana. And for whatever weird loyalty reason, we never got collaboration. This is how crazy that is.
Well,
we never got collaborations between the two.
Yeah.
Because of the whole East Coast versus West Coast beef.
It was competition.
We never got Tupac and Biggie, the hottest rappers in the game. We never got it. We never got 50 Cent, Jay-Z. We never got,
We never got 50 Cent Jive.
We never got 50 Cent. Well, I didn't want that.
That would have been dope.
We never
No.
Think about it.
Musically, that might have been
Think
fire.
about it. We never, for whatever weird loyalty situation, we never even got like Lloyd Banks and Memphis Bleak. So it really hurts hip hop.
Yes.
There are so many collaborations that I'm like, I would love to see NBA YoungBoy and Drake. I would love that.
Here's
Kodak and YoungBoy. I think they're cooler now, but like, I would love to see that.
Because you're right. I think at the end of the day, it's hurting hip. I don't think people really understand like these conflicts are hurting the potential of music. You think about even artists like, and again, before I even get it, I'm not gonna speak on personal matters. When dudes actually have a personal reason that is preventing them from getting,
I'm not speaking on that.
That's different.
And the reason you decide to not be cool with that person, that is completely up to you.
Totally. And that's why I'm saying,
up to you.
And that's why even in some of these situations, I want to be very clear, even if I'm speaking on this or you're speaking on this, and we're missing maybe some of the nuances of maybe personal things that have prevented some of these artists from collabing, that's fine. But the overall point is I'm almost certain that most of these dudes don't really have a real issue. This is like dudes choosing allegiance based on who they know and who they're choosing to show loyalty to at the end of the day. You think about artists like, Drake and Kanye. They collabed earlier in their career. Now, granted, again, maybe this is deeper than people actually know. Maybe it does have to do with a girl. Who knows?
And every rapper's competitive.
Exactly.
Every rapper's competitive.
And most of the time, a lot of dudes end up beefing over women.
Yeah.
Think about what's going on right now. Drama's beefing with Meek.
Yeah.
I mean, they had their
and they're both in Philly.
And they're both in Philly. Drama's not an artist, so it's a little different in terms of a collab per se. But the conflict is, to me, at an all-time high right now.
It can be.
It's at an all-time high.
It can indirectly impact Uzi working with Meek. I don't think it will, but like DJ Drama and Uzi are affiliated. I don't know if they still are, but like
they still
can have an impact. You know what I mean? So, and that's why I said loyalty is overrated. I think that's the word I use, right? Overrated, because I'm just like, guess what? Somebody can do. They can squash the beef. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, they can be like, oh, I got to actually sit down with the person. Yeah, they cool. They cool. Yeah, go ahead. You can go back to working with them. They cool. Because conflict, the problem a lot about what's going on, a lot of it is social media. But going back to what you said, a lot of the conflict that you're seeing is actually nothing. A lot of the conflict that you are seeing can be healed with a little sit down and talk.
One quick convo
could be, I misled. Like one of the situations I kind of look at and I laugh kind of about is the Kendrick Lamar and Big Sean one, where Big Sean claims he was not dissing Kendrick Lamar on No More Interviews. That's the song. He claimed he was not dissing Kendrick Lamar, right? But in the social media and all that stuff, it kind of came across like that, and then Kendrick took his shots and whatever, blah, 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 blah. Big Sean eventually came out and said, yo, dog, like, it was a big-ass misunderstanding. Like, now we have this, like, hidden beef for years, and people think we don't like each other for years. It was a misunderstanding.
100%.
Majority of the disagreements that you see in life, not just hip-hop, in life, are misunderstandings. Majority.
100%.
Misunderstandings.
And that's a good point, and that's something good to mention, because that's 100% what it is. I think, though, at the end of the day, like, I want to make sure I hammer this home. Fan bases, artists, we're at a point in music where having a cult fan base is like, that's like what everybody kind of aspires to have
now. Yeah.
It's like, yo, if you're doing music, if you're doing anything, whether it's a podcast, if you're this, you're that, you got to pick, you have to have a core fan base. And unfortunately, what happens is fans take on way too much of a burden into the disputes that some of these creators or artists or whatever have. And they fuel,
and you start having,
and they fuel the beef.
You start having a disdain for the person.
To be honest, that's what's going on.
Fans.
Exactly. And that, to be honest, I feel like that has historically hurt female rap.
I was going there. I swear I was going there. I was going there. I was about to go there.
Exactly. What's interesting is you just earlier, RGM, shout out. Y'all go to RGM, the new review for Cardi B and Latto's new song, Put It on the Floor Again. I mean, listen, I heard the song one time and I was like,
Shots.
I mean, here is more shots, but I'm going to be honest. Whether you want to argue the beef is about petty stuff or not, what you cannot debate is that their fan base eats this shit up.
Oh, yeah.
And they do all the dirty work for them while these artists go into their $1 million mansions, go to these fancy restaurants, go drive nice cars. And meanwhile, these fans who are working regular and living everyday lives are picking sides and taking on beef that they have no business taking on.
But the
shit is counterproductive.
The problem, and that's why I'm like
counterproductive.
The problem, that's why I say loyalty is overrated, because the problem is for the secondary people. If Nicki Minaj were to go one day, just randomly, maybe she goes to church and she has an epiphany. And one day she says, I want Cardi B's number. I want to squash this.
Goes to church.
She can go to tomorrow. She can go to church right now, have an epiphany, take a sip of holy water, have an epiphany, and say, Cardi B, I was tripping. I apologize. Right. And then Cardi B says, I accept your apology. We friends. It's over. Cardi B's fans are going to say, they're so adult, solving their issues and coming together. It's over. But how it stands right now is Nicki and Cardi don't get hurt. It's the people that work with Nicki and Cardi that get hurt. So I was laughing because I wrote this in the review. I said, Nicki and Cardi are creating like teams.
Facts.
They're creating teams.
You
know what I say right now? I said Latto's team Cardi now. Latto cannot work with Nicki no more.
Well, she wasn't already going to.
Right. Bia is working with Nicki Minaj. If Bia works with Cardi B now, that's gonna be like, oh, why are you working with Cardi? You was working with Nicki. Nah, you a backstabber. The people
they
under
picking sides, bro.
That's why I said the NBA YoungBoy and Lil Durk thing. I understand. That's a tough one.
It's different.
It's not them that gets hurt. It's the people that work with them that get hurt.
The people under them. And I'm glad you mentioned the artists who are also looking to try to collab with those top artists.
Yeah,
100%.
They try to do it. They try it. I think Dirk mentioned this with Academics. He said, to your point, somebody on his team went to the baby, said, "What you doing working with NBA YoungBoy for a full album?" And Lil Durk had to be like, "Nah, dog, it's not that big a deal." Easily could just be like, "It's not that big a deal." You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you right now, Cardi B and Nicki Minaj can wake up tomorrow. They can do a Super Bowl. Somebody can give them the bag to squash their beef. And then they're all cool. That means it's over. So all the songs we didn't get from all the people affiliated to Nicki and Cardi, it meant nothing because they squashed it.
It meant nothing. And the thing is, but the thing is, in reality, it won't happen. Listen, guys, this is a hypothetical scenario.
Hypothetical. This is all hypothetical.
We're diagnosing.
I don't have any insider information.
Fact. But in reality, these artists fuel off of this. They create movements off of it. They create branding, marketing. They create whole angles when it comes to songs. They literally feed off of this. So there's no incentive for them to stop it. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm not so much talking about the artist per se, because we can't really control what the artists do. I mean, they're gonna move how they're gonna move from a business standpoint. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. I don't like the choosing sides on every front, but I'm saying from a fan standpoint, we have the option to decide whether we want to feed into the beef or not. We as fans,
most of us already,
we do.
Like I said, most of these beefs are disagreements, misunderstandings that can be fixed with one simple phone call. Jim Jones and French Montana squashed a 10, 15-year beef. Like, taking shots at each other for a long time. It probably took like a sit down just real quick and was like, yo, I don't even know why it was beef. Majority of them are like, I don't even know where the beef stemmed from.
Speaking of them, remember how early we brought up 50 Cent and Ja Rule? That was the beef between 50 Cent and
Rick Ross.
Rick
Ross had that beef.
And Fat Joe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fat Joe, Jadakiss, all of them were cool with Ja.
Yeah.
And
they didn't know they did New York. So they
did the song, but
New York,
they're cool.
50 automatically said,
he lumped them in.
You're all lumped in together. And then they became friends.
At the end of the day.
So we got so this is my problem. So because of whatever moodiness that everybody wanted to be, we didn't get for 10 years when Jadakiss was at his hottest. Fat Joe was at his hottest. We could not get 50 Cent in a Jadakiss song. We could not get 50 Cent in a Fat Joe song because of some weird misunderstanding / loyalty.
Hey, bro. At the end of the day,
it's crazy.
At the end of the day, I waited way too long to even mention his name, because what's going to happen now that Gunna has come out.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah,
of the woodwork. Gunna just dropped a new song. If you guys didn't know, it's called Bread and Butter. And I mean, here's another example of how people were already questioning whether or not Gunna, when he does come back out with music, whether he could be what he was. Is the fact that everybody's flipping on him, whether it's the Lil Babies, the Lil Durks, the Meek Mills, all them people who have shown public condemning of Gunna, will that impact Gunna or not? I'm going to tell you right now, I said back then, when we even discussed this on the show multiple times, I'm going to listen to Gunna. I don't give a damn about this snitching shit. It means nothing to me. I'm not a part of it. Just accept the music, enjoy it, and decide whether or not you like the song or not. It's that simple.
100%.
It's that simple.
Well, the problem
we don't gotta get into the whole, hey. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's entertaining. Hey, is Gunna dissing Lil Baby? Is Gunna dissing Lil Durk? I get it. That's gonna be par for course. We gonna do that regardless. But I'm talking about to go as far to be like, I'm not listening to Gunna's music because I rock with Thug.
Honestly,
that shit whack, bro.
It may not hit the same for you.
It's whack.
Gunna, this is a very interesting case because Gunna is a very talented rapper. Mm-hmm. Like, some of the people that are accused of snitching, I'm not gonna say no names, but some of the people that are accused of snitching a lot of them are not as talented as Gunna. Gunna is, before Gunna went to jail, you can argue he was an A-list rapper.
But we can say names because it's 6ix9ine. You have to, because it makes the point,
But Gunna before going to jail was an 8. A-list rapper. I would say he's an A-list rapper. He was moving units. He didn't lose his rap skills. I expect Gunna to make good music.
Right.
You know, I expect his album to actually be good. It kind of reminds me of Rick Ross, where we always talk about this, where Rick Ross, people started calling him a cop, CO, had the pictures and stuff. You know what Rick Ross did? Rick Ross made good music. Mm-hmm. And slowly but surely,
there you go.
People still were collaborating him. And Rick Ross he actually got more popular.
There you go.
He used it to his advantage.
Exactly.
So I'm curious. I know Gunna can make good music, but who's going to collaborate with Gunna? For Tekashi, when he came out of jail, one of the people that stepped foot on his side was Nicki Minaj. That was a major endorsement. She still worked with him. Who is going to be bold enough to still work with Gunna?
Gunna is so good as a musician. Whether people actually see it or realize his talent or not, it's there. He's so good. He has already proven on various projects, whether it's Wanna, some of the other Dripper Drown 2. He's proven that he doesn't need to collab with artists to make a good project. The issue with Gunna is, will he get the same producers? Because, and the reason I say that is because not Take Keith, but the other guys with Wheezy. Wheezy came out. Wheezy out of here.
Yeah.
Came out literally 2
guy.
weeks ago and condemned, I'm not working with Gunna no more. That's Gunna's issue. Gunners don't gotta worry about will he get the art. I'm telling you.
But he's gonna find producers that can.
But we can't act like
try to
certain
emulate that
artists
sound.
haven't made magic with other producers.
I agree, but
and that's been what's been able to propel their career. So that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, that's what I'm watching for. I'm watching for what producers he's working with. Will he be able to lock in with a producer that's gonna understand his sound? You know,
he'll be able to get some of the R&B stars. I think he'll be able to get some of the R&B people. I think a lot of this has to do with marketing, right? And Gunna still, I'm sure that song that he just came out with did serious numbers. Like, people still streamed the hell out of it, and people liked it. And so people are looking at it like, yo, he's actually, because at the end of the day, the name of the game is money. And I think Gunna can make money for people more than a lot of these other people can make money. So if you want money, I would work with him. But you just got to find a way to twist it. If you were a rapper, would you work with Gunna?
Me personally?
Yes.
And how I'm set up?
Yes.
Absolutely. Why not?
You would work with Gunna?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
But if I'm a street rapper and I live by
If you
no
were a street
snitching,
rapper?
if I'm a street rapper and I live by no snitching, and I'm familiar with Gunna and I'm close to the people involved, I might have to pull back.
At this point, you can't.
Just be wrong. That's what I'm saying. Like, what's crazy is,
Which sucks.
I
You
understand the dilemma that a lot of these rappers who are close to the situation are. The little babies who are close to Young Thug. He's said mad times how much Thug brought him into the game as a rapper, showed him how to rap. He's even said Gunna wrote his first raps when he first.
That's the thing that was crazy to me. That was
Exactly.
That was crazy because that made me. That's the one that kind of bothered me.
I mean,
like, they were brothers.
Were they really?
Well, I'm assuming they say it all the time.
Or were they picking sides?
They're slimes.
They slats and slimes.
Can I just say this, bro? I'm not a street guy,
Okay.
right? And
Of course you're not.
Don't
You
condemn.
got your thighs out.
Don't condemn me. Why is it in the hip hop community you can shoot people, you can beat your partner, you can do drugs, you can go to jail, you can slap your mom in the face?
I don't know about that one.
You can talk about
No community thinks that's
talk,
okay.
That's just a joke. You can talk about
Selling
cheating,
drugs to the community.
Selling drugs to the community.
Doing drugs.
You can talk about
being an
you
addict.
don't believe in God. You can talk about you're an addict. You can talk about politicians.
Where you going with this?
The cops.
Where you going with this?
What is it about the moment somebody says they talk to police? It can be like, oh yeah, I was outside and I saw the police and I shook the person's hand. I'm done with this person. I don't even want to know. We had a 20-year relationship. I'm completely done. So you gonna bypass. You guys can still be friends. You can probably even smash somebody's wife, and still they're gonna be willing to be your friend. Still gonna be willing to work for you. The moment an allegation comes out about you snitching, the moment they say, I saw a picture of him with a cop. It's breaking off friendships of 30 years.
So-
This person could have gotten you millions.
And I agree with you. But I think though that going back, see, you notice
It's street rules. I mean,
that's what
like
I was
said,
about.
I'm not
we,
gonna.
we
but
keep
it's
we keep
funny.
touching on a lot of the same stuff throughout like the last couple episodes. Bro, this tells you how heavily hip hop music, the black community, is ruled and governed by street culture, street rules. Like people who have no business following any of these codes are living by codes that the community at large is telling them they need to live by. It don't make sense why somebody working and paying taxes is living by street codes talking about I'm not going to tell on the person who robbed my house or who burglarized me.
I get it.
You know why?
No,
Because
I get
I'm
it.
a snitch if I do. How?
I get it, but it's like you willing to end a 30-year relationship, or you willing to? It's just a question. You're willing to be like, I'm never gonna work. I don't even want to see this person ever again. You guys can be best friends.
You know what though? I gotta say,
interesting.
it is interesting. I have to say this though, real quick. I have a sneaky suspicion that while what I said is true before, which is like, hey, street culture rules the hip hop, it rules a lot of times the black community. I think people feel pressured into living in that manner. I don't think people in their own heart of hearts actually feel as strongly as the codes that they're following are. You know why? Because that's why people end up getting exposed. They be like, yo, but you're working with a snitch. You know why? Because that person may have a real connection with them, even though they might be a snitch. I think it's when it gets out and exposed is the real issue. Meaning people are more worried about what it looks like
What it looks
than
like.
what it actually
Yeah,
really is.
what it looks like.
I think people are more willing to just be real and be like, yo, I've known this guy for a long time. Like, this is my man.
Because at the end of the day,
This is my family
people
member.
are gonna get jammed up. Something about like I just saw you talking to the cops. I completely canceled this relationship. That's wild.
That wouldn't make any sense because if you
is wild.
if you did that to me, I'd be like, but you don't even live by street. You're not
That's
street.
wild.
You're not street. Why
Like-
why are you living by codes that don't
like bro,
apply to you?
Bro,
You see what I'm saying?
This needs to be said. Nobody is saying this. Tory Lanez was accused of shooting a woman in the foot, and still people were like, oh yeah, Tory, I rock with Tory though. Tory's a real one, you know. I rock. People were defending him. People did nowhere near condemned him. He shot a woman, a sister, a daughter, defenseless. The claim in the foot. He didn't lose long. I'm sure he probably lost some friendships. Obviously, the people that feel really strongly about it. But like, there's no uproar
There was
in the
up-
streets.
there
I'm
was uproar.
talking about from like the rap community. Like certain people, some people. Let me not say uproar. Uproar is the wrong word to use. I did not feel he got the same energy as somebody who got accused of snitching. He didn't get bullied, or he didn't get the same type of heckling from his peers as somebody who snitched.
But I'm here to tell you that further proves that hip hop fans, the culture, is okay with the degenerative,
crazy.
the degenerate, the disgraceful treatment. You went through a whole laundry list of things that you said. You mean to tell me that they're okay
Yeah,
with this?
you can do this,
They're okay
you
with
can do
it.
that,
You went
you
through
can do
everything,
this.
and it proves that
crazy.
people are okay with nonsense that has been accepted over time. But for some odd reason, snitching is the big bad wolf. Snitching is the Joker
I said,
card.
I get why somebody would be angry about it. But like in your typical human being's life, that's low on the totem pole of things that would make me cancel like a 30-year relationship. I know a lot of people are going to disagree, but
Nobody who thinks objectively, in my opinion, I feel like they would agree with the fact that there's contradictions in how
just
people choose
wild
to
comparisons.
go about and choose to choose loyalty, choose to pick sides. And that I think is what is being highlighted here.
That's wild.
To play devil's advocate real quick,
Can't.
Somebody who knows Tory Lanez in that example you gave, somebody who knew him would probably say, well, these are allegations. It's not clear.
So do you think they did that with Gunna? How come nobody did that with Gunna?
I'm saying you're attacking people who didn't condemn Tory for allegations. Maybe they were just like, yo, I know this guy. Like, he don't seem like that kind of guy. These are allegations. I'm going to stick by him until I hear otherwise.
But Gunna's
just saying.
Gunna's was allegations. Like,
they're not allegations. He snitched. Like, by the definition of he snitched. Even in, listen, I think the song is fire, but in that song, he said he got tricked.
I don't know if I
Come on, dog. Like, what are we talking about?
I would have said that.
What are we talking about? Allegations.
Chase Songz a sicko. But like,
allegations.
People still, I see him still out and about. With
Allegations. Friends. Let's move on, man. Next topic: copy and flows. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it something that artists should do comfortably? Is it something that should turn fans off? I was listening to a new song that just dropped. Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar just dropped a new song called The Hillbillies. I was telling you this earlier. Mad fans were accusing Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar of stealing Drake's whole, in the word to quote Soulja Boy, he stole my whole flow, word for word, bar for bar. Remember the Breakfast Club interview? Yeah. They were accusing them dudes of stealing Drake's whole style and flow on Sticky. The song Sticky that dropped on Honestly Nevermind. You know how sticky it gets.
I think that was the best song on
With that being said, the debate to me kind of played around in my mind. I was like, yo, are fans right to say they stole the style? Like, and even if they did steal the style from Drake, is that wrong? As fans, how should we receive people taking bits and pieces from other people's styles? As I answered the question for myself, I'm like, styles have been stolen from day one. Like, I don't think there's any original style. We're all gonna bite off of people, whether you do it intentionally or not. What to me makes it flattering or consider paying homage, if you take it and make it your own. Like, if you do it in a manner in which clearly shows your influence, and I brought this up as well. I was telling you that Baby Keem, when he tweeted that the song dropped, in parentheses, besides the Hillbillies, he literally said Sticky Dub. Like, that is the epitome of, I am openly showing you that I'm paying homage to a style of music that, to me, I think is dope and I want to recreate. Right. And I'm not saying every artist needs to do that, like make it blatantly obvious. But what I'm trying to say is, number one, there's nothing wrong with stealing flows, stealing styles. I think everybody does it. I just personally think where it goes wrong, where it can be considered distasteful, disrespectful, is if you ask that person, where'd you get that from? And they don't acknowledge where they got it from. They try to act like they created it, where the origins of that style that they took came from. I think that's where it gets a little distasteful. But at the same time, as a fan of music, sometimes styles can get stolen too much and it can get a little, watered down. Like, we can tend to lose the origins of where somebody got the style from, or you can just get tired of a style as a whole. People accuse Gunna when he first dropped or when he first came into the game of sounding like Young Thug. They said I thought he sounded just like Thug. And yeah, he did. If you listen to early Lil Keat, just to stick into that crew, Lil Keat sound like Thug. Is that wrong? I don't think so. I think it's only wrong personally when you don't have a defining factor in what you're doing with the approach. If you don't figure out your own take on that style and make it your own, I think that's where it becomes a problem. Even stealing a sound for a beat, if we're talking about from a producing standpoint, is a bad thing. It's not. Well, it's not always a bad thing.
Here's where the writer in me is going to come in. I generally agree with what you're saying, but certain words need to just be switched. I would say certain artists are influenced. There's a difference between some steal, I agree, but then some are influenced by certain styles. Then some want to just straight up take it. I think what you would label Kendrick and Baby Keem doing was having fun with that style, not stealing it. They don't want to monetize off it. They don't want popularity. They don't want. I mean, that's probably not the purpose, but they don't want to claim it was theirs, that they're doing it better. They were having fun with it. As you were talking, what it came to my mind? Toosii, hella talented dude. He reminds me a little bit of like Tory Lanez, where versatile, really likes R&B.
It's a great comparison.
He can rap. He
1000%
reminds me of like Tory Lanez. So I actually, I'm in the middle of reviewing his album. He just dropped a new album.
Yep.
And right now, he's booming because of his song, My Favorite Love Song.
Favorite song?
Which is, I think, a beautiful song. The first thing that came to my mind was Rod Wave. That sounds like a very Rod Wave song to me. And I was listening to his album, and he has a lot of songs on the album that, to me, remind me of Rod Wave. Now, what does a Rod Wave song sound like? Emotional.
Oh, we know. Yeah.
Those little samples.
Get either the piano or the guitar
pouring out your passion. I love me some Rod Wave, but my favorite song is going to end up being bigger than anything Rod Wave has made. Let's be real. My favorite song is a big
that joint
song.
Has gone viral on TikTok. I think
it's going to be bigger.
I saw the video for the first time a couple days ago. It had like 50 million views.
It's going to be bigger than anything Rod Wave. Because as contrary to popular belief, I've listened to every Rod Wave project in the last 2-3 years. I cannot name a Rod Wave song off the top of my head right now. There's plenty that I love. Don't get me wrong. But like, there's never been that one Rod Wave song that I can just name off the top of my head. My favorite song is going to be one of the best songs of 2023. And, Toosie's getting his credit. And when you look back at it, I don't know how many people actually know that's Rod Wave's style. Long story short, what I'm trying to say is it depends, who takes what, right? Like, I think when Kendrick takes Drake's style, that's cool. Like, two goats, Kendrick and Drake have this, like, not so known, just hidden competition going on. You know what I mean?
Play into the beef.
J. Cole took
whatever there is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
J. Cole took Drake's song, and he made his own like freestyle to it. What was it?
He just rapped over.
It was R&B. He
That's
did it, but in the song he admitted. He said in the song, like, I love Drake, but he said something about Drake.
He said K. Dot and Drake, they superstars.
Superstars,
to me. He said,
exactly.
Number 3 or whatever.
Exactly,
it was. Yeah.
exactly. So that's cool to me when people do that. But then there's the stage where the person's in the middle of blowing up, and then somebody likes that style. They take it, they run with it, and now it's like, we don't know if that person fully got the credit they deserve. And I think that's the one that, and I don't want to take anything away. I know Toosie's super talented, but I feel bad for people that may not know Rod Wave's music, that like, if you think my favorite song is good, like, Rod Wave has been putting out great music that sounds like this for years. That's the one I feel the most sympathy for. Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is I don't know if you noticed, he actually went on tour with Rod Wave and Mariah the Scientist, where Rod Wave was Rod Wave's tour. He's the headliner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're doing arena tours around the entire USA. So when you say people don't know Rod Wave, I would actually argue, bro, more people know.
I said if you don't know.
But that's true.
Yeah. Not saying they don't.
Okay, I want to make sure you say it, because I'm like, let's be very clear. Rod Wave is a way bigger artist.
Oh, of course,
by far.
But I'm saying if you're not familiar.
Got you.
Rod Wave.
Okay.
Ironically, my favorite song is one of those songs that I think you can walk into like Rack Room Shoes now and hear it. I think it's going to be one of those songs that you just randomly hear all the time.
I'm gonna go
everywhere.
I'm gonna go as far to say
it's a hit.
Absolutely. But I'm gonna go as far. I'm actually gonna go as far to say that is a classic song.
Yeah.
And it's to the point where you talking about Rack Room Shoes and all these other businesses that not even in business, bro. That song's gonna be played at weddings. That song's gonna be played at
like he has
every type of function. He caught one.
But
off of a style that you could argue is someone else's.
My only concern, because I've never been on the wave of people jacking my flow. It's just human nature. When you like something, so if you're an artist and you expect me to like your music, then you got to expect me to be influenced by your music, which means you got to expect me to maybe take some of your flow, maybe take some of your style. I like your music.
So you kind of agree with me then, in a sense
100%
that
agree.
On the flip side, because there has to be a breaking point.
Yeah.
At what point, in your opinion, would quote unquote being inspired by, let's not use the word steal, at what point does being inspired by a style become disrespectful?
Disrespectful. Okay.
At
No,
what
no,
point?
let me not say disrespectful. I don't like what people are doing with Drake. So notice how Drake, people just took his style. Now the problem that I don't like about Drake's situation, people that are taking his style, is notice how I said I'm not the type of person that's like, you jack my flow, I have a problem with it, or you jack my style of music, whatever. But people are jacking Drake's purpose as a rapper. When Drake was one of the first people to be a heartbreak dude, you know, man, I'm vulnerable. People started jacking like, that's what's hot. I'm going to start rapping like a vulnerable person. That was Drake's purpose as a rapper. When you start jacking the person's purpose, like some people are jacking Eminem. When Eminem came out, Eminem was like, I'm going to be this wild, crazy dude. That's my purpose as a rapper. And then somebody distastefully takes it. Now I want to be crazy like Eminem. No, that to me, I don't care for. Jacking somebody's purpose.
But isn't somebody's flow, or if you go even way higher, F the flow, let's just say their style or approach to music, doesn't that tie to their approach and their purpose? Like you're using the word purpose, but really what I'm getting at is someone's brand. Think about Juice WRLD, his entire purpose, drug addict, sad boy, heartbroken, girl broke his heart, he's turning to drugs. I'm not saying he's the only person who's ever taken this approach. I'm not saying he's going to be the last person to ever take this approach. I'm saying more recently he popularized that. And I noticed a complete wave of artists take the man's entire swagger, the branding, the hair, the musical content.
I don't love that.
The production style.
I don't love that.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? That's too far. I'm saying like the purpose part, because we all know, like everybody knows when you're listening to music, stuff sound authentic or stuff don't sound authentic. If you're going into the game and saying I'm going to go into the game and be Juice WRLD, I don't like that. Get into the rap game with your own unique story. That to me, okay. But don't just like think that you can just hop into the rap game taking somebody else's story or purpose. Maybe your story aligns with Juice WRLD's, but when it's all said and done, we're going to find out, because the authenticity is going to tell us. The Kid Leroy. The whole time I was like, yo, the Kid Leroy is just a white Juice WRLD. That was my way of thinking. But as time went by, I was like, this actually feels authentic. Like this actually feels like who he is.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And as time went by, he already had his own kind of style.
Right.
So eventually I was like, yo, I think he's who he is. So,
you know, and you're right. And that's why my biggest thing, I've said this on the show mad times, and I'm like, dog, to me, one of the things that I pay attention to the most, that's the number one thing, is how authentic someone sounds over a song. I'm telling you, that to me, if that don't connect, there's a good chance I won't go back. Authenticity is definitely a big thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad we had that combo, because I think that like a lot of people just automatically think stealing styles is like a bad thing. They call people. So. They call people out all the time. Hey, you jacking his swag? I'm like, bro,
I just
so man. Let's move it. Let's keep it pushing. Last topic. We got a mid-year review. Mid-year review.
These albums suck this year.
The year has been mid, hasn't it? Mid-year review. We're at the mid-year point. We're in June. We want to talk about what has been the best album, what has been, I guess, our favorite album individually, and then also what's the most disappointing album of the year so far. Q.
Ooh.
Okay, you know what? Hey, let's do best. We'll go back and forth. Then we do
best
favorite, and then we do most disappointing.
Okay.
What's your best album of the year?
Best, not my favorite. So
favorite
best album of the year to me, I think is going to go down as Danny Brown, and it's called
JPEG Mafia.
Yeah, JPEG Mafia.
Yeah.
Something Ho.
Scaring the hoes.
Clearly,
it's not that good. You don't even remember what it's called.
I haven't gone back and listened to it, but I just remember listening to that album, being blown away by the production.
Yeah.
Being blown away by just the creativity. There's nothing I've heard like that, let alone this year, like last couple of years. It was a full-blown experience. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, you know, if you're listening to an album and it gives you an experience, you're not just listening to it, you're feeling something, then that album's really good. Scaring the Hoes did that for me. Obviously, the rapping is top notch. Just the chemistry between the two was great. So that's the best album I think I've heard this year.
That's interesting. I thought that album was good. Mm-hmm. It was more unique than anything.
It's weird.
It's weird. It's unique. It's different. Right. Them two dudes are like some of the mysterious artists probably ever. Especially Danny Brown.
JPEG Mafia.
He's a weirdo.
You know what's funny about JPEG Mafia? His voice sounds normal as hell. He actually sounds just like Childish Gambino. But the stuff he says is the thing that he's so rebellious lyrically.
It's the stuff he says, and then also just the production. Yeah, it's just so left field.
It's so left field.
But no, I did like that project, especially the song "Scaring the Hoes." I like the title track. A lot of this mid-year check-in has been mid. Do I believe I've heard the album of the year so far? Nah, and I don't believe I'm confident thus far this year, but I will say the best album for me to drop is Don Toliver, Lovesick. I thought from, the dynamic, music that Don Toliver is able to create, whether it's R&B, he's a Swiss Army knife when it comes to just music. The man does everything. And I'm a fan of people who are that dynamic. Like whether it's from an artistry standpoint, whether it's what they're able to do over production. We talking about commercial hits mixed with joints that you could play in a strip club, mixed with joints you can play in the trap. He got a lot of a mix. And I think that like his music is quality enough for us to highlight that, okay, he deserves a mention. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Don Toliver.
I think that's one of the albums that he gave the fans exactly what they wanted.
That was an experience of a project. He came with a theme, and I thought he actually
consistent
stuck to the theme throughout the actual project.
The album has a consistent feel, production wise, vibes wise. Like he did exactly what I would want, and surprisingly, not most artists don't do that.
Next category, we got favorite album of the year so far.
Favorite album of
who you got?
My favorite album was actually K Tremine. K Tronada and Amine's album. It flew super under the radar. I just loved the vibes. Like one thing about Amine is that I really like is Amine feels like an ordinary guy to me that's rapping, speaking from the perspective of us. I feel like when he raps, he kind of like makes me remember my like 25, 26-year-old days, dating, just having fun. Yeah. And that's kind of the vibe that I get when he raps. And on that album, that's kind of the vibe that I got. Like just laid back. Like, you're not thinking about the worries of the world. You're not thinking about all this negativity stuff. It was just a fun raps that you got from him. Just approaching life exactly how 25, 26-year-old Q would approach life. Then you add K Tronada's production to the album, and
masterful.
Like K Tronada's beats are vivacious, they're colorful, they're multifaceted.
Yo, are you writing a review right now?
Like they are words, but then at the same time they still have those hard hitting hip hop elements that would make you want to rap if you are a rapper.
Yo, what is this?
It's a match made in heaven.
What's going on right now?
K Tremine, that's what's happening.
Yo,
it's my turn.
It sounds like you and that goddamn album need a room, a presidential suite. But no, phenomenal album. Album.
Your turn.
I'm gonna go with Lil Yachty. Let's start here. I'm gonna start with the negatives and I'll go with the positive. A lot of people were thrown off and just, they were quote unquote taken aback by Lil Yachty's dismissal of hip hop in a sense. As that album dropped, they were like, yo, why is he condemning hip hop? Why are you looking for validation from pop people, from white people? Yeah, man, people rock with you, but like, why are you going away from us? That was the narrative surrounding, his album when it dropped. And while I slightly agree with that, I do think there were elements in which he was being interviewed where he did show he didn't feel appreciated in hip hop and he wanted to go another direction musically. And so he felt like that was what he needed to do. I understand why he took that approach. It rubbed me the wrong way when he was saying some of the stuff he was saying. But if I'm just talking about the music, that I experienced, I was surprisingly blown away by his execution. I was blown away at the musicality that he was able to create. I'm not saying that I didn't think Lil Yachty wasn't great as a musician, but I was nonetheless surprised. I can think he was a good musician, all I want, capable of whatever, but him actually showing it kind of made me look at him different. I walked away from that project liking more than half the songs, and I was not expecting like those songs to still be in my rotation still to this day. I listen to the music. It's good quality music. I don't think the vocals are great, but nonetheless, I thought Lil Yachty impressed.
It was an experience.
And it's one of those albums that to me has been one of my favorites that's dropped this year, bro.
Very artistic album. It really made his artistry, stick out, right?
Yeah.
But I do want to caution people. Every time, this topic comes up, people always are like, what you said, I didn't know it was in him. I didn't know he can do that. I didn't know he was that good, blah, 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 blah. The typical person would be like, are we curving it for Lil Yachty? I think this album is good if you just take away the fact that he has not been a great rapper or he's not put out great music. You take away that fact, I think it's still good. But I think a lot of people are just impressed with what he was able to do. There, you know what I'm saying? There's a difference between being impressed and good.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. I want to be very clear. Not only am I impressed, I'm separating that. I think the music is really good.
Good. Let's be real. Lil Yachty's vocal performances on the album are god awful.
They're bad.
Like,
I'm not even sugarcoating it. They're ass.
God awful.
It's
right?
ass.
I think it's just everything else that makes the album great. I think it's a really good album. And I don't think that the vocal performances have anything to do with how good it is or how bad it is.
I love it. Like I said, I still listen to it to this day.
It's a good album.
Let's move on though. Last category. We giving out trash cans for this one.
Ooh.
Who has dropped the most disappointing album of the year thus far? Who you got, Q?
I don't think it's necessarily I was disappointed with the music on the album. I was just disappointed with the expectations that I had with the album. So my choice is Lil Durk.
Almost Healed.
Almost Healed. Okay. Almost Healed. You know something that people don't realize? Durk has become a polarizing figure in hip hop. Polarizing figure means you care about every move that he makes. Yep. And we do. And so for this rollout for his album, excellent rollout. He was putting out, quotes about what he was doing in the community, and then he was teasing All My Life. He was doing interviews. And then here's what got me so excited to listen to the album was the second single that he brought out. He had in the music video, it started with Alicia Keys.
Powerful.
What's wrong? Powerful. And I said, oh, man. Do you know what I actually legit thought at that moment? I legit thought Durk might be the first poppin' artist to actually legit move forward with this Stop the Violence movement. So then I pressed play on the album. First 2-3 songs, excellent.
Yeah.
It's the therapy.
The songs we had already heard.
The songs we already heard,
yeah.
The emotional songs.
Right.
But then I just felt like there was just too many like club bangers that were just like, there was just too many songs that were just like, I've heard this before.
Yeah.
And I just thought he had an opportunity to like really dive deep into like the struggle that people like him are going through. Like I'm going back to Jay-Z. Jay-Z, hip hop needed 444. You know what I'm saying? A dude just coming out and saying, I messed up. Like, I'm trying to repair my life.
Yeah.
We needed that. You know what I'm saying? And then you go back to what you were doing before. There's a bunch of artists that have literally dedicated just like one album to like just Kodak Black has done it. Remember the album where he just got really emotional? Testimony.
Love that album.
Where it's like I thought that was the perfect example, perfect time for Durk to drop something like that. And he didn't. I mean, now power to him. He wanted to go with that approach. I don't knock him at all, but it was just for me, expectation wise, what I expected, I was a little disappointed. Not that it was a bad album, but I was just disappointed that we didn't get more All My Life. Like, All My Life is a beautiful song.
Amazing.
That was the easiest top 5 list I've ever made. In my life. I said all my life, and it's not even close. What's 2?
That's real. You know, that's real, man. You know, listen, I tweeted right after I heard the whole album. I was like, yo, this is bothering me. I said, yo, Lil Durk fumbled a major opportunity to prove he's a next level talent with how empty sounding the music is on Almost Healed. Like, I really feel like he did not execute on a potential concept album.
Oh man, it could have been.
And he missed the mark. Like, the marketing was great. Everything was aligning to what we thought the music on the album would be like. And don't get me wrong, I'm not one of these people that thought he's gonna go Nelson Mandela. Like, I knew there was gonna be that killer murder.
For sure,
I get it. I was expecting more of a blend though. I was expecting more of a mix. I did not hear that. Like you said, it was pretty obvious what the best songs were. It was literally the top 3. Like those set the stage, and it just kind of fell flat from there. He missed the opportunity to really, really put his name in that conversation for like, yo, no, this guy is like, he's different than what we thought.
I think we all were listening to him at that moment. I thought he had an opportunity.
He fumbled.
Just with it be called Almost Healed, you know, he had an opportunity to really like move people with it. But
no, he definitely fumbled the
We'll
bag.
see. Maybe next time.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I've been seeing people kind of like it, but also seeing mixed reviews. But that's a good one though. That was disappointing. For me, I'm gonna go with your boy 6 Slack with Since I Have a Lover.
What? Joe Slacko?
Listen, I don't know what's going on with this guy and his label. I don't know what's happening with Black these days in his career. You know why? Because he don't share it on social media. We don't know what's going on in his life. All we get is the music, which I love. That's an old school artist to me. That's somebody who really cares about the artistry and decides I want to put that in my music. And I think Black gives us that every time around. And if I'm being honest, I was extremely disappointed with this project. Not only because I'm used to Black putting out projects that mean much more, and it has music that carries the weight, and it has longevity. The last project he put out before this was in 2018 called East Atlanta Love Letter. And I'm telling you, bro, like, I literally still listen to that album. I think it's excellent. It reminds me of how SZA waited mad long to put out her next project,
but she delivered,
and that's the difference.
She delivered,
and that's the right with a T, and that's the difference, right? And so when we gotta wait 6 years, 5-6 years to get another project, and then you come with mediocre, you disappointed, buddy. It was a mediocre. If I had to grade the project, which I mean I'll do for you guys right now, I would give it a C.
Ooh.
And and Black and the letter C, they don't go together. Black is not a C-level artist.
Says who?
Me. No project that man has put out has been C-level. Everything that man puts out from day one has been B-level, if at the very minimum.
I thought you guys just put him on a pedestal.
Yo, Black is that dude.
He's put on a pedestal.
Black is that guy.
He's good.
He's a great artist.
He's not great. Like,
I think you're in the minority. I'm just letting you know.
I might be, but I think he's an acquired taste artist.
So is Frank Ocean.
Yes, he is.
And so that's what
I said that too.
But he's a great artist, right?
I would say he's an acquired taste artist that people who like Black really like him. If you're not somebody who really likes Black, you think he's okay.
F what I feel. If you want to talk about what the people feel, the masses have given Black this level of. No, I'm just letting you know. Like, you could say acquired taste all you want. I'm talking about the masses have said, have echoed.
Yes.
What I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just letting you know that it's not just me. It's not this siloed fan base. It's mad people out there who think Black is that dude.
But I personally.
So when he don't deliver, to me, I'm considering it disappointing.
But I personally don't believe he has done enough for anybody to say I expect him to drop a great album. Like, I don't think he's done that. It sounds like you were expecting him to drop a very good album. And I'm like, I don't know. For me personally, he's not there yet. He's this good of an artist that I expect. Like Kanye West.
All right, you're just naming goats. Come on, bro.
That's my point. But you're putting on a pedestal.
I didn't say he's a goat, man.
I'm saying,
knock it
that's
off.
what I didn't say he's a goat.
But
I'm
don't
saying
be naming
those
legends,
are the type,
bro.
Okay, but that's my point.
I ain't going that
those
far.
Those are the type of people you should expect.
That's not true.
Making
that's
great
not true.
albums.
You know why that's not true? Okay. Because someone in his same camp Summer Walker. I believe Summer Walker's at the point where
No, I don't think she's at. I love
every project the woman has put out thus far has been great.
Summer Walker. I'm
just letting you know.
Love Summer Walker.
That's fine, but what I'm trying to say
if Summer
is,
Walker dropped an average album tomorrow, I would be like, okay. Like, I'm not sitting there expecting Summer Walker to make a whole bunch of A's. That's kind of how I feel about Black.
I'm not asking for A's. I'm asking for B's.
Okay.
Minimum. Summer Walker does that every time around.
Summer
Walker can roll out the bed and drop a B album.
I think Summer Walker is one of the best artists right now.
She could drop a B album in her sleep.
At the end of the day, I'm just like, but if she decided to drop an average album, she dropped the average album. I'm not disappointed.
Disappointment comes from expectations.
Kendrick Lamar drops an average album. I'm like, what the hell? Is he okay?
Disappointment comes from expectations. Expectations drive whether something's disappointed.
Tyler the Creator is another one who, if Tyler the Creator...
You missing the
anything less than a B.
You're missing
I'm like,
the point.
Whoa, Tyler the Creator has albums.
Yeah, but do you know why? Because there's expectations on their artistry.
Because Tyler the Creator has actually shown he is great. Six Flags,
which means you expect him to deliver at a certain rate because he's shown it. Correct?
Anything?
So you just agreed with me.
No, I'm trying to tell you, I've not seen.
You literally just agreed with me.
I said I've not seen anything from Six Flacco that would indicate that he is on that level to where you can say, I expect great music from this guy.
I think
I've not seen it. Listen, maybe you guys seen it.
Now listen,
I've not.
And we can end this right now. Just like you, I'm a music guy. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I'm his biggest fan. Mm-hmm. Not at all. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying I hear great music from the man. He put out Free Black, the first project, which is the EP.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
He put out EPs after that have all been great. I'm gonna just let you know this right now. Black disappointed
mixtape.
This was a disappointing album from Black. It is what it is. You debating me, but it's disappointing. What are you talking about? Were you disappointed or not? Yes or no?
It was disappointing though. I'm not gonna lie.
So what are we arguing about? Stop arguing. You see what I'm saying?
Bad.
You agree with me, but you argue with me. We are the Ill Advised Wise Guys podcast, and as always, if you're giving advice, just make sure it's ill. Bow.